All right, and we are live. Good evening po sa inyong lahat mga kaguro. And of course, welcome back to Gurong Pinoy. Hello, of course, sa lahat ng ating let babies for September of this year. Your application is going to start by next month. Tomorrow po ay June 1st na, no? Sana maging maganda yung pasok ng June sa atin. Of course, the online application will be until August 24th. Then bago, of course, magpasko, tayo po ay ganap ng licensed professional teacher. So kung hindi ka pa po member ng Team Skinner, again, it's very easy. If you are a member of Team Skinner, you can answer our online quiz. You can join our full-length video. No? Po, pwede pong balik-balikan lahat ng ating videos. Ma-replay mo po yung ating video. And of course, you can download our files. And so, dire-diretso na po yan. Just one-time payment until the day that you take the LET. Kasama na po yung inyong pre-board, yung inyong final coaching, your classified files. Meron din po tayong mid-review by July. And so, kung hindi ka pa member ng Team Skinner, hindi ka pulugi, magpa-member na po kayo. Just send a message through our Facebook page. All right, now, of course, we also have our majorship. Now, all majorship are covered by Gurong Pinoy. Full online majorship po ito for English, Math, Filipino, Gen Sci, Soc Sci, MAPE, Values Education, TLE, AFA. Again, just send a message to our Facebook page para makater po kayo at masagot po lahat ng inyong katanungan. No? Our admins are all ready to assist you. And of course, hintayin lamang po yung reply ng ating mga admins. Ongoing na po yung ating full online majorship. We've started with the orientation march on May 13th, And of course, ongoing pa rin yung discussion ng ating diagnostic test. We'll have our mid-review by June 24 and 25, pre-board August 5 and 6, final coaching would follow. And of course, we are also going to have the final recap. So again, to join us, send a message through our Facebook page. All right, and again, we are still congratulating our top-notchers for March 2023 na licensure exam for teachers. Ma'am Micaela Andrea T. Bonador, University of the Philippines, Diliman, top 1 for the elementary level. Ma'am Kyla Bianca B. Mendoza, top 3 from PNU Manila. We also have top 10, Ma'am Juliet E. Tulabing, St. Joseph College of Zamboanga del Norte. For secondary level, we have top 3, Ma'am Jaira Meiji Flores from West Visayas State University here in Iloilo. Top 4, we have Ma'am Kiana Marie F. Bartolome from the University of St. LaSalle. Top 7, Arlene G. Furings. Ma'am Arlene, of course, from Sorsogon State University. We also have top 7, Sir Marvin E. Perez from Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University in San Fernando. We also have top 8, Ma'am Reglyn May Y. Ilanan from Cebu Roosevelt Memorial Colleges. Top 9, Ma'am Venus Nicole S. Hukal from the University of St. LaSalle, top 10. We have Ma'am Teresa G. Dagculos from Central Luzon State University and Ma'am Ivy Rose G. Ragaas from Aklan State University, Banga Campus. Then, of course, for our SPLE top 1, Sir Freddy Bitanlawan Jr. from Capiz State University Main Campus, top 5. Ma'am Marie Grace A. Garcia from Far Eastern University, Manila, top 7. Ma'am Mildred DJ Bernardino from La Consolacion University, and of course, top 8. Ma'am Marilyn Ticulayan from Western Mindanao State University, Zamboanga City. So again, we have produced so many passers, thousands of passers, and sa katatapos lamang po na LET, we have produced 15 top-notchers, no? And so you cannot question the credibility and the ability of Gurong Pinoy to make you pass your LET, just send a message to our Facebook page if you'd want to join us. All right, now again, just as a form of inspiration, no, para maging inspired pa po kayo mag-aral, top 3 for September 2023 na licensure exam for teachers would be receiving 100,000 pesos from Gurong Pinoy. Top 2, 200,000 pesos. And of course, if you rank 1, you will be receiving 300,000 pesos. So again, just send a message to our Facebook page, the same Facebook page where you are currently watching our live stream. If you are watching us on our Facebook page, that's Gurong Pinoy. Sa mga Team Skinner naman, of course, dapat po doon kayo manood sa ating exclusive group para dire-diretso yung ating discussion. If you are watching us on YouTube, so many videos there that can help you pass the LET. Of course, please subscribe. And of course, just go to our YouTube channel, the Facebook page, para mag-send po ng inyong message later. Okay, now tonight's discussion is on professional education, the 30 items that our Team Skinner members have answered since yesterday, no? And so, as I've mentioned in our previous discussion, concentrated na po yung ating mga discussion, no? So, we concentrate on specific topics na that's prior to us taking the mid-review in July, no? So para mas mahasa yung ating mga kaguro, para nang sa ganun, no, pag napunta na tayo sa mid-review, alam na natin, marami na tayong alam sa bawat content ng ating po magiging licensure exam for teachers. So tonight is professional education. Paki-like, love, and share na po ng ating video. Start a watch party, tag your friends, and of course, show your support by sending us stars on Facebook, super chat, super stickers naman po sa ating YouTube channel. Binabati ko din po yung ating mga team replay members na yung mga babalikan yung video. Hello po, happy learning. Ganun din po sa ating mga team newbies, mga new members, welcome po. Team Brunner, Team Piaget, mga previous passers natin who are sending their messages. Good evening, and of course, congratulations to all of you. All right, let us all start with our opening prayers. Sasamahan niyo po ako, mga kaguro. Dear Lord, I come to you to ask for your guidance and direction in this study session. I ask that the Holy Spirit fill me with strength, creativity, and understanding to get through my studies without difficulty or sin. Help me hold my focus and attention. Help me to retain all that I learned. Please make my mind sharp and keep distractions at bay. If any part of my studying is weak or lacking in some way, let it be revealed so that I may correct it. Thank you for this opportunity to learn. Amen. All right, now once again, this is Prof. Ed. Like, love, share our video, start a watch party, tag your friends. All right, so tonight's focus is the assessment of student learning. Now, so yan po yung naging focus natin ngayon. It's under the subjects of assessment of student learning 1 and 2 under your professional education. Let us all start with question number 1. Okay, number 1, its goal is to monitor student learning to provide ongoing feedback that can be used by instructors to improve their teaching and by students to improve their learning. Is it letter A, diagnostic assessment, letter B, formative assessment, letter C, summative assessment, or letter D, placement test? What is your choice for question number 1? Okay, number 1, ano po yung ating choice? All right, I see a lot of letter B's. Tama kaya ang letter B for question number 1? Or number 1 pa lang kaya, ligwak na? Okay, going back to your question here, no? So sabi po, the goal of this type of assessment is to monitor student learning, to provide feedback that can be used by instructors to improve their teaching and by students to improve their learning, no? So ginagamit mo siyang pang-guide sa iyong pagtuturo. Should I proceed to the next topic or parang hindi pa na-gets ng aking mga estudyante, and so babalikan ko muna, no? I-reteach ko, i-aando ko muna yung mga misconceptions nila, no? And so, what do you think is the right choice for question number 1? Ang tumpak na choice po natin dito, of course, would be letter B, that is formative assessment. Okay, so congratulations sa mga nakakuha ng tumpak na choice. All right, now these right here are the different roles of assessment, no? And we have the different types of assessment too. Beginning of instruction, bago pa man mag-start ang inyong instruction, no, you have your placement assessment. Ito yung choice D natin kanina. And this will determine the prerequisite skills, degree of mastery of the course objectives, and the best mode of learning, no, prerequisite. Kumbaga, ano ba yung kakayahan ng mga estudyante bago pa mag-aral, no, bago pa niya pag-aralan ang isang kurso, no? So usually you use your placement for the different courses, no, kung saan mo siya po pwedeng ilagay na kurso, ano yung nababagay na course sa kanya. Ikaw ba ay bagay na teacher, no, parang halos magkapareha sila ng aptitude test, although your placement assessment can also be used for the sectioning of your students. Na po pwede siyang gamitin for the sectioning, star section, meron kang special science class, merong last section. No? So placement assessment is done. And again, it's also done at the beginning of instruction. Now, diagnostic assessment is also done at the beginning of instruction. This is given at the beginning or during instruction, like usually at the beginning. And of course, yung pinaka-goal ng inyong diagnostic assessment is to know the strengths and weaknesses of your students. Now, during instruction naman, what you do is formative assessment. Ito yung ating hinahanap. It is used to monitor the learning progress during instruction to provide immediate feedback, success, and failures of learning. This is also known as assessment for learning. No, assessment for learning is formative assessment. Okay, I hope you see the hint. Assessment for learning is formative assessment. Now, at the end of instruction, you can do summative assessment. This is given at the end of the course or at the end of the unit. So your big tests, no, are under your summative assessment. Your grading test, periodical test, your NOT, your DOT, your ROT, no, your national achievement test. These are types of summative assessment. Okay, so it's assessment of learning, assessment of learning. Okay, so summative assessment is assessment of learning. Yung we've discussed assessment for learning as formative assessment, assessment of learning as summative assessment, assessment as learning naman po would be done by the students. So metacognition, when your students would think about their own thinking or learn about their own learning, that would be assessment as learning. All right? I hope you got it clearly. We go to question number 2. Which statements represent criterion-referenced interpretation? Letter A, Lucy did better in solving the linear equation than 80% of representative algebra students. Letter B, Lucy's score indicates that she is able to solve about 2/3 of all one-variable linear equations of such complexity. Letter C, students who have reached Lucy's level on linear equations usually succeed in the subsequent unit on simultaneous equations with special help or extra time. That is, Lucy is ready to move ahead. Or letter D, all of the above. What is our choice? Medyo mahaba-haba yung ating choices, no? So ano kaya ang tumpak na choice for question number 2? We are looking for criterion-referenced interpretation. What is your choice? Okay, please put that in your comment box. And again, please do not forget to include the item number para klaro po kung para sa ang item yung ating sagot. All right. For number 2, I see letter B is. Okay, we are looking for criterion reference. Criterion reference. Remember, you have two types of interpretation or two types of test, criterion and norm reference. No? So I will go to the discussion after this. But of course, the correct choice here would be letter B. Okay, so sabi dito, Lucy's score indicates that she is able to solve about 2/3 of all the equations of such complexity. No? So because whenever you say criterion reference, you are not comparing the performance of Lucy with the performance of the rest of the students. You are kino-compare mo yung performance ni Lucy based on the given criteria, based on the competencies. No? So para siyang LET, based sa competencies ng LET, nakakuha ka ba ng 75%? Makakapasa ka ba? No? But of course, your LET is also norm reference kasi after the passing percentages, after the list of passers, meron ding ranking, no, sa mga top notchers. Okay, so both criterion and norm reference naman yung inyong this one, ang letter A mo, did better than the rest of the algebra students. This would be norm reference, no? Kasi kinompare niya si Lucy with the other students. Letter C mo, students who have reached, ganun din. No? So, comparison then between the students. So, that would be norm reference. So, criterion reference natin would be letter B. All right, let's take a look at your slide. So, again, here you have norm reference testing. This compares individual results to the results of other children. For example, your standardized aptitude test, teacher-made surveys, interest inventory. So, for example, you have a learner ranks fifth in a classroom group of 40. Okay, so that means na nasa fifth siya, no? If ranked yung performance ng buong students, lahat ng students, 40 students, fifth rank sa learner mo, no? So criterion reference testing naman, this compares result to predetermined criteria and not comparing the results of one student to that of the other kids, no? So end of the unit test, pass or fail term exam, a learner multiplies three-digit whole numbers correctly and accurately. Okay, so walang comparison with the performance of that student with the performance of the other students. Okay, so sana klaro na yung norm reference and criterion reference testing natin, and their difference, hindi po ito nawawala sa inyong licensure exam for teachers. Now later, if you are a member of Team Skinner, you can download our file, and so po pwede pong balik-balikan din, i-replay yung ating full-length video. All right, number 3, students are their own assessors. Students monitor their own learning, ask questions, and use a range of strategies to decide what they know and can do and how to use assessment for new learning. Letter A, assessment of learning. Letter B, assessment for learning. Letter C, assessment as learning. Or letter D, assessment at learning. Okay, I have mentioned this a while ago. Na-explain ko po ito a while ago. So which one do you think is tumpak? Okay, students are their own assessors. They monitor their own learning. They ask questions, use different strategies to know what they, to decide what they know and can do. Okay, so I see a lot of letter C's, and that, of course, is the right choice. Now, this is assessment as learning. You remember we've talked about assessment of learning as summative assessment. No, summative assessment po ito. Ayan, no? Assessment of learning. Assessment for learning is mainly your formative assessment, the one that you do during instruction, the one that gives you feedback, the one that makes you decide about your own teaching. No? So that's assessment for learning, formative assessment. Assessment as learning is done by the students, although assessment as learning can also be under your formative assessment. Yung pinaka-formative assessment na ginagawa ng teacher would be assessment for learning. Okay, so letter C po, ang ating hinahanap, wala pong assessment at learning. We go to the next item, number 4. It is a process which examines student responses to individual test items or questions in order to assess the quality of those items and of the test as a whole. Item structure, letter B, item analysis, letter C, item formation, or letter D, item writing. Okay, when the teacher would examine the responses, the answers of the students to these items, and also to check whether this test was effective or not. No? So what do you call this process? Is it item structure, item analysis, item formation, or item writing? What's your choice for number 4? Okay, number 4 po, what is your choice? Okay, going back to item number 4. What do you think is the right choice? The correct choice here, of course, would be item analysis. No, so in this process, we actually use two indices. Okay. We also have your discrimination index. And discrimination index naman, this is the degree to which students with high overall exam scores also got a particular item correct. It is often referred to as the item effect since it is an index of an item's effectiveness at discriminating those who know the content from those who do not know. Na? So if maganda yung discrimination ng isang item, that means yung mga nakakuha ng matataas na scores ay nakakuha din ng item na ito correctly. No? So, yung mga medyo bobits ay ligwakers din sa item na ito. No? So, these two indices are what we use during item analysis. So, usually, you do this in your action research, in our researches. No? So, difficulty index and discrimination index. Later on po, magkakaroon tayo ng mga items on this para mas malinaw kung ano yung difficulty index at yung discrimination index. All right, we go to number 5. An item has a difficulty index of 0.40 to 0.59. What is your interpretation of this item? Would it be letter A, most difficult, letter B, difficult, letter C, moderate, or letter D, easiest? Okay, kapag kayong difficulty index ng isang item is from 0.4 or 0.40 to 0.59, ano yung interpretation natin? Anong klaseng item ito? Would it be most difficult, difficult, moderate, or easiest? Okay, what's your choice? Number 5. All right. Okay, the correct choice here is letter C. It's moderate. Okay, so ito po yung inyong interpretation from 0.20 to 0.29 kasi po yung decimal mo dito ay po pwede mo pong gamitin or i-convert as a percentage. No? So you can move the decimal point 2 times to the right and write your percentage sign. That would be 20%. Also 20% to 29% lamang ng mga estudyante yung mga nakakuha ng tumpak na choice. And so this item is very difficult. You might have to revise it or you might have to discard the item. 0.30 to 0.39, it's difficult. So retain it. 0.40 to 0.59, ito po yung ating hinahanap. It's moderately difficult. Okay? So it's a good item. No? Swak lamang yung kanyang pagiging mahirap. 0.60 to 0.69, it's an easy item. And you can still retain it, no? Kasi hindi naman ganun kadami yung lahat, hindi naman lahat ng students yung nakakuha ng tumpak na choice, no? 0.70 to 0.80 or up, it's very easy and so you may discard the item, no? So maaring very trivial yung item mo, okay? So, but the correct choice here is letter C, moderate. We go to number 6. What would you do with an item that has a discrimination index of 0.15? This time, we are talking about your discrimination index, hindi po difficulty index. No? So, discrimination index niya is 0.15. Would you retain it, revise it, retain and discard, or discard? Okay, ano po yung ating choice for number 6? Medyo challenging yung ating question, especially if medyo hindi tayo sanay, no, or hindi natin kabisado yung ating discrimination index. All right, so again, tonight's discussion is all about the assessment of student learning. This is one topic, of course, under our professional education. As I have mentioned, if you are a member of Team Skinner, we do our quizzes now by topics, no, para by the time that we go to our mid-review, medyo hasang-hasa na yung ating mga kaguro, ready na, no? So, mid-review pa lamang, ready na tayo. And then, of course, we are going to discuss your mid-review. Then we go to your pre-board, your final coaching, your classified files now. So, dire-diretso po yung ating pagre-review. If you are still not a member, very easy, no? Magpa-member na po kayo sa Gurong Pinoy. Just send a message to our Facebook page at magtanong po kung paano magpa-member, okay? All right, so the correct choice here, if the discrimination index is 0.15, the correct choice here is to discard that item. No, it's a weak item, hindi maganda yung discrimination niya, hindi nga napapakita kung sino yung magaling na mga estudyante at sino yung mga hindi masyadong marunong na mga estudyante, and so we discard this item. Okay, so here are the different levels of discrimination. So pag 0.19 and below, such as our given here sa ating question, it is a poor item, it should be eliminated, no? So need to be revised, but since we have the choice here of discarding the item, we discard the item. And of course, it's just 0.15. No? It's below the level. Okay? Masyado siyang mababa. All right? And meron din mga common questions sa let ninyo about yung mga negative items. No? Kapag ka negative yung discrimination index ng isang item, to automatic na po, discard ka agad yung item. All right? 0.20 to 0.29, marginal, needs some revision. 0.30 to 0.39, it's a good item. You can still have some improvement maybe. And 0.40 and above, it's a very good item. Okay, so ito yung ating target, no, when we are talking about your discrimination index. All right, question number 7. Who among the following conducted norm reference grading? So sana alam nyo na to, no? Kanina yung ating question was about criterion reference. But now at number 7, our question is about norm reference grading. So which one would be the right choice? Letter A, Teacher Annie gave final grades based on the transmutation table. Letter B, Teacher Benny assigned the students into grading groups where those in Group A are students with high scores, while those in Group D are students with very low scores. Letter C, Teacher Kathy evaluated the students' outputs based on the set standard. Or letter D, Teacher Dino copied the students' grades from the previous semester as this semester's grades. Sana yung teacher natin hindi katulad ni Teacher Dino. At sana kayo hindi maging katulad ni Teacher Dino. Okay, so what do you think is the right choice? Number 7, we are looking for norm reference grading, norm referencing. Okay, what is our choice? Remember the difference between your criterion reference, criteria, competencies, norm reference, no? So comparing the results of the students. And so, yung correct choice mo po dito would be letter B. No? So, Teacher Benny assigned the students into grading groups. So, sa Group A, yung mga matataas yung scores. Group D, yung mga very low yung scores. Okay? So, he compared the performance of the students in a group, and so that would be norm reference grading. Okay? So, yung si Teacher A mo, nag-transmute lang siya ng grades. No? So, Teacher C naman, this would be criterion reference because he evaluated the outputs based on the standards, competencies, or criteria. Sa letter D naman, the Teacher Dino, kinopya lang yung grades from last semester. Okay? So letter B, sana klaro kung bakit letter B ang ating tumpak na choice. We go to number 8. It is a systematic collection of learner work such as written assignments, drafts, artwork, and presentations that represents competencies, exemplary work, or the learner's developmental progress. Would this be letter A, checklist, letter B, portfolio, letter C, performance task, or letter D, project? Okay, what is your choice? This is a very common definition. Okay, systematic collection, yung pinaka-hint mo dito would be collection, represents competencies, exemplary work, or the developmental progress of the student. The correct choice here, of course, would be portfolio. No? So, portfolio po, yung ating hinahanap, a collection of students group. Alright? So, checklist, you know what a checklist is, no? So, meron ka mga descriptions at chine-check mo lamang. Performance tasks, these are your authentic assessment or alternative assessment, yung mga big projects na pinapagawa at the end of the semester. Project, of course, they can come in various forms. Okay, so these are the hands-on, minds-on activities that we ask our students to complete. The letter B is tumpak for number 8. We go to number 9. This level of the cognitive domain means the student is able to state a problem in one's own word. Letter A, remembering. Letter B, understanding. Letter C, applying. Or letter D, creating. What is our choice? Okay, so again, if you do want to enjoy the full video, to join our quiz, to, of course, go back to all our previous videos, replay the videos, and download our materials, become a member of Team Skinner, just send a message through our Facebook page. Okay, level of cognitive domain. Student is able to state a problem in his own words. Okay, the correct choice here is letter B. That's understanding, no? You remember we already have two versions of Bloom's taxonomy. The first one here, this was the older version, no? The old version is Bloom and Anderson's taxonomy. The old version here, you use nouns, so knowledge, comprehension, application. Those are your lower order thinking skills. Analysis, synthesis, evaluation. Those are your higher order thinking skills. Now, sa new version, there's been a switch, no? Yung unang-unang pagkakaiba ng new and old version mo is that now synthesis, which is now called as creating, is the highest, while evaluation, now called evaluating, is just second to the highest. And of course, instead of using nouns, gumamit na sila ng verbs, no? Ng ing form of the verb, okay? But the correct choice here is understanding. Let's take a look at the next slide. So here are the different categories or levels under your cognitive domain. No? So remembering, this is just the recall of previous learned information. You also have the different verbs here that you can use, especially if you already are teaching and you have to write your lesson plan, no? Learning outcomes, these are just some examples here. Now, understanding, ito po yung sinasabi kanina, state a problem in one's own word. And so, understanding yung ating choice. Applying is to use what was learned in the classroom into similar new situations. Analysis or analyzing is to separating materials or concept into component parts to understand the whole. No? So, when you are doing an analysis, you hinihimay mo yung parte ng isang buo para maintindihan mo yung kabuuan. Evaluating is judging the value of an idea, object, or material. Then, of course, you have the highest, creating, which is building a structure or pattern, putting parts together. And napaka-importante, we have to remember that whenever you are creating, it should be something new. Hindi siya gaya-gaya lamang, hindi siya dapat copycat. No? You should put the different parts together to create something novel or to create something new. Okay, but again, we're looking for understanding for this item. We go to question number 10. This psychomotor skill is shown when a student performs a specific activity repeatedly. Letter A, observing. Letter B, imitating. Letter C, practicing. Or letter D, adapting. Ano kaya ito, no? We go to your psychomotor domain naman. Okay, so is this observing, imitating, practicing, or adapting? What is your choice for number 10? Isip-isip. Okay, what would be your choice? Okay, so again, send a message to our Facebook page if you'd want to continue learning with us. You can answer our online quiz, dire-diretsong pagre-review, dire-diretso yung ating video, po pwedeng ma-replay yung video, and of course, po pwedeng i-download ang ating files. Okay, a student performs a specific activity repeatedly. So, paulit-ulit yung ginagawa yung isang activity. For example, paulit-ulit siyang nagdi-dribble ng bola. No? We're talking about psychomotor skills here. And so what do you call this action? What skill is shown in item number 10? The correct choice, of course, should be letter C. This is practicing, no? So, paulit-ulit kasi nga sabi, practice makes perfect, diba? You redo an action, okay? So, that will be practicing. All right, so these are the different categories or levels naman under your psychomotor domain, no? So, observing, imitating, you have practicing, then of course you have adapting. No? So unang-una, you observe, you pay attention to a physical activity. For example, sasabihin ng PE coach mo or PE teacher nyo, observe nyo kung anong ginagawa ko. No? So just give attention to a physical activity. Imitating, you attempt to copy a physical behavior. No? So nag-a-attempt ka ng kopyahin, that's imitation, but of course, wala ka pang masyadong skills into doing that. Practicing is when you perform this activity repeatedly. Okay, so paulit-ulit, kaya number 10, practicing po yung ating choice. And of course, adapting, you fine-tune it. No? So alam mo na, po pwedeng gumawa ka na ng sarili mong play, no? Sa pagdidribble, or meron ka ng sarili mong technique. Okay, so fine-tuning and making minor adjustments to attain perfection. And of course, you also have some examples here and some verbs that you can use. Okay, so letter C, ang tumpak na choice for number 10. We go to number 11. This is the lowest of the levels in affective domain. Letter A, responding. Letter B, receiving. Letter C, characterization. Or letter D, organizing. All right, so we're done um, with your cognitive domains, or cognitive domain, the different levels in cognitive domain, psychomotor, and now we are at your affective domain. Okay, so what's your choice? The lowest level, pinakamababang level ng inyong affective domain, responding, receiving, characterization, or organizing. Okay, what do you think is the right choice for question number 11? Okay, ICBs sa ating choices, letter B. The correct choice here, of course, is letter B. Okay, so receiving, no? So our VOC, yung ating acronym for the different categories, no, sa inyong affective domain. So receiving, aware ka lang, okay? So being willing to listen or just pay attention, that's receiving. That's the lowest level. Now, the second one is responding. You show commitment to respond, no? So nagre-reply ka na, meron ka ng response, that would be your responding level. Valuing, you show willingness to be perceived as valuing or favoring certain ideas. Meron ng halaga sa inyo yung value na to, or yung something that you do, no? So this idea or this value